Hey guys, so Ivy Lee here. I'm coming at you with a lot of updates. We have a lot going on in Raid right now. Patch information has dropped, as well as some interesting stuff like this little fella here. So first I figured I should start off with some personal updates. Today is Friday. Tomorrow will be TheSaffronMan's podcast. Every Saturday he does a podcast called Raid Shadow Legends Assemble. I've been on it for 2 weeks in a row, and we're making it a third. So Saffron Saturdays are in full effect, so please be sure to check out Saffron Man's Twitch account, and also his YouTube, which I will link below for past episodes. But tomorrow at 9 p.m. UK time, which is 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be going live with him as well as some other guests. We also have a special surprised guest, so be sure to check out his post for that. Alright, now on to the raid stuff. Alright, so guaranteed champion, huh guys? Let's unpack this real quick. I haven't read through all this, I'm just aware of what's happening. So for a short time, Friday through Monday, we're going to be launching 2 simultaneous events to give you the best shot at getting some of Raid's most powerful champions. So summon champions using ancient shards while the guaranteed champion event is active, and you're guaranteed to get a Countess Licks by your 150th shard. It's that simple. No big deal, guys. Just spend a lot of money and pull shards. I mean, this is fun if you've been saving them, but I don't think you should go spend $200 on shards and get her. She's cool, but is she that cool? I mean, that's a lot of money. If you can do it, do it. She's a great champion. There's been some cool guides on her, especially paired with Astralon. But don't go that crazy. Don't go that crazy. Anyway, alright. Guaranteed events are tracked by individually for each player, so if you happen to summon Countess Licks from a shard before your 150th event, your guaranteed champion event will end. In addition, it won't reset your mercy system. So that's good to know. You can get multiple Legos in that pull set if you're going to hit your mercy system, and she won't take away from it. And then we got Veil Master's Summoning Draft. So this is fun. I mean, there's some good characters here. Roxanne I really love. He pairs well with Duchess, but if you don't have a Duchess, he kind of sucks. Kandrafon also pairs well with Duchess. Yannicka, same thing. She has things that rely on Veil, and she also puts Veil on herself. And Vizier, Mr. Buff Extender, right? I mean, he's so cool. So there's some good champions here. Like usual, save your shards for a 2 times chance event if you can. Unless you are ultra endgame and you have that short list of champions that you're missing, then that's, I guess, the best time to pull for a 10 times. But 2 times. Save your shards for 2 times. Okay, and now we have the updates. 3.4 highlight. Greetings from Plarium. In the 3.4 is nearing release, and we're ready to present you guys a list of cool features that'll be included. You can expect some quality of life adjustments such as the ability to tag your champions in the collection. In addition to that, a whole new faction, the Mighty Shadowkin, arrives in Teleria. Curious to learn more? Then read on. So, shrouded in mystery, the Shadowkin hail from the furthest reaches of the eastern continent, beyond the Brimstone Path. Believed to have been under the brutal heel of the demon spawn for the last several hundred years, only recently have they cast of Serath's yoke and thrown their lot in with other factions. Okay, it's not me. Some of this is worded weird. Fearsome warriors, all their years bent to evil purpose, have left darkness about them. They have much to atone for, and only time will tell if they have truly regained honor. Yep, a whole new factions coming to Teleria. The mysterious Shadowkin are heavily based in Asian mythology and aesthetics, all brought in line with the overall dark fantasy style of Raid Shadow Legends. We're planning to expand the faction gradually with batches of new champions arriving through multiple updates. Worry not, we're not going to unlock a Shadowkin's crypt in Faction Wars until later, when there are enough champions for you to make a solid team. And here are the brave pioneers coming to Raid in the 3.4. Alright, so we got Genzin. Attacks one enemy 3 times. Each hit fills this champion's turn meter by 6%. Okay. Attacks all enemies, 74% chance, placing a 60% decreased defense buff. Each critical hit fills this champion's turn meter by 10%. All the self-boosting going on here. Attacks one enemy, will ignore unkillable buffs and shield buffs. Fills this champion's turn meter by 30%. Fills this champion's turn meter by 60% instead if the target has 50% HP or less after their attack. Also decreases the cooldown of Steel Parting and Fated Vengeance skills by 1 turn if this attack kills an enemy. Okay, I guess he's gonna hit hard. I guess we'll find out, right? Let's see what his multipliers are. I'm curious. He sounds really fun. Alright, and his passive increases this champion's speed by 10 and resistance by 50 if there are fewer champions on this champion's team than the number of enemies on the other team. Interesting. This is super fun. It's a really interesting kit. I really can't wait to see what people do with him. Super interesting kit. Oh hey, there's Yoshi the Drunkard. There is the Fragment event to come. I gotta dismiss this. Okay. Alright, so he's so funny, isn't he? Alright. Attacks one enemy, 30% chance of placing a stun debuff. Attacks 2 times at random, has a 75% chance of placing a 50% decrease accuracy debuff and HP burn for 2 turns. I'm not reading all the books, but most of the, obviously you could see, a lot of these book up in chances. Increased chances with books, I mean, you know what I mean. Alright, Battle Toast. Places a 50% increased attack buff and 50% increased accuracy buff on all allies for 2 turns. Also has a 50% chance of placing True Fear debuff on all enemies for 1 turn. Has a 75% chance instead on enemies under increased attack buffs. So that books up to 100%. Super cool. True Fear can be really annoying. Try playing Harvest Jack in Arena when you don't have high resist or deep block debuffs. Passive fills this champion's turn meter by 4% each time an enemy receives a buff. And is a speed aura as well in all battles. That's super cool. The same aura as Duchess. Alright. Next. Yintoro. Another legendary. Attacks one enemy, grants extra turn. If this attack kills an enemy. Attacks one enemy, steals 100% of the target's turn meter. Ooh, steals. I like that even better. Decreases the cooldown of Oni's Rage by 1 turn if the target is immune to turn meter reduction effects. Interesting. So there are some bosses that are, for sure. So attacks one enemy, places 60% decreased defense and 25% weakened debuff for 2 turns. Will attack 5 times instead of 1 on every 4th use of this skill against the same target in 1 round. Okay, so he's obviously going to be strong against bosses. Interesting character. They're doing really creative stuff these days, aren't they? I kind of miss the simple skills, not gonna lie, but it's fun to see how these can be used, and I'm sure a lot of these are going to be kept in mind for the future Doom Tower bosses, so we know that there's going to be 2 new Doom Tower bosses coming, so this is a good indicator that maybe some of these champions are going to be built for those bosses, for defeating those bosses. And we have a passive. All turn meter fill effects are increased by 50% when used on this champion. Interesting. And aura of attack increase in all battles. Sachi? She looks cool too. Attacks all enemies, has a 40% chance of placing a 50% decrease accuracy buff for 2 turns. Ooh, AoE on an A1. Definitely not hating that. Attacks one enemy, has a 75% chance of placing a 30% decreased crit rate debuff and a leech for 2 turns. What's the cooldown does go to 2 turns, so leech up all the time. Hopefully. 75 places a 50% increase attack buff on all allies for 2 turns and attacks one enemy. Fills turn meters of all allies by 20% if this attack is critical. Okay, always a good support option there. I really like having more increased attack champions is always good because there's so many, like, people like Ultimate Gaelic depend on it. So it's just someone else that could pair well with Ultimate Gaelic possibly. Revives, let's see, a passive revives a random ally with 30% HP whenever this champion kills an enemy. Has a 50% chance of placing a fear debuff on all allies for 1 turn whenever an ally is revived. Okay, Reviver. The passive revives are interesting. I haven't played a lot of characters with the passive revive, to be honest, yet. Oh, hey, this girl. She looked so cool. I really loved her skin in particular in the last video that I did. Oboro. Alright. Attacks one enemy has a 40% chance of placing 60% decreased defense debuff. Will attack all enemies instead if the target is under 4 or more debuffs. Nice. That's super cool. Attacks one enemy 2 times. The second hit has a 75% chance of transferring all debuffs from this champion to the target. That bucks up to 100% chance. That's really cool. I haven't played, like, that's another thing. I don't think I've played anybody that has, like, the transfer buff type stuff. The first hit has a 75% chance of stealing all buffs from the target when attacking under a Val or Perfect Val buff. Okay. Places a 30% increased crit rate buff and a 30% increased crit damage buff on this champion for 2 turns if this attack is critical. So need a 100% crit rate. Places a Revive on Death buff on this champion for 3 turns whenever they receive a Val or Perfect Val. Oh, nice. So another person that's pairing well with Duchess, or is it Lydia? No, Lydia doesn't. I don't have Lydia yet. We'll see. Oh my gosh, look at his picture. He looked pretty goofy, didn't he, in the other video as well? The What's Next on Raid. He definitely looks a little goofy. He's funny. Alright. Torag the Frog. Toragi. Attacks one enemy, has 30% chance of placing a 50% decrease attack debuff for 2 turns. Attacks all enemies, 50% chance of provoking debuff for 1 turn, and increases by 5% for each debuff on the enemy team. Places a shield buff equal to 50% of this champion's max HP and a 50% ally protect buff on all allies except this champion for 2 turns. Also heals this champion by 25% of their max HP and places 30% reflect damage buff on them for 3 turns. The heal increases by 2.5% for each poison debuff on the enemy team. It's like I was starting to think clan boss, decrease attack champion, but then the provoke in the middle is kind of not necessary, obviously. But then that ability is kind of worth it. Ally protect is always great for clan boss. Let's see, when attacked, has a 50% chance of placing a 5% poison debuff on the attacker for 2 turns. Occurs once per hit. Well, definitely clan boss. Alright, I could definitely see an interesting use here in clan boss. Or even just dragon or something like that. Increase ally resist in all battles by 40. Ooh, she's cool. Look at that. That's such a pretty thumb. I don't even want to call it. I guess her avatar. Chinoru? Yeah. I can never pronounce things. Attacks one enemy, has a 40% chance of placing a block buffs debuff for 2 turns. Attacks 3 times at random. Each hit has a 75% chance of placing a 25% weaken debuff for 2 turns. Removes all increased defense buffs from all enemies, then attacks all enemies. Decreases the cooldown of Lay Bear by 1 turn of each enemy killed by this skill. That's a very specific, so she's sort of a buff stripper, but only of 1 specific buff. Oh, he looks cool. Fanatic. Attacks 1 enemy and has a 30% chance of placing a 30% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns. Has a 30% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense debuff instead if the target is under 2 or more debuffs. Attacks 1 enemy, has a 75% chance of transferring 2 random debuffs from this champion to the target. Interesting. Places a 50% chance, or places a 50% increased attack buff on all allies for 2 turns. Oh, Ascended. Sorry, I should just read Ascended. Places a 50% increased attack buff on all allies for 2 turns and removes 1 random debuff from each ally. Okay, so that's like Doom Priest, right? She does it 1 each turn. Well, that's a passive though. This is an active. So it's still fun. And he's a rare. That's a decent little kit there for a rare. We'll see. Life Taker. Attacks 1 enemy 2 times. Each hit has 30% chance of placing a 100% heal reduction debuff for 2 turns. Attacks 1 enemy 3 times. Each hit has a 50% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 10%. The third hit has a 50% chance of placing a decreased speed debuff for 2 turns. Places a Veil buff on this champion for 1 turn and 30% reflect damage debuff on this champion for 2 turns. Guys, they're doing it again. Sounds good for Fire Knight, right? Wrong affinity again. They always do this, don't they? I mean, as a rare, she could probably be used for people progressing through Fire Knight, so to be fair, there are definitely going to be other stages she goes through that could be helpful, but it's so funny when they always use the wrong affinity for things for the end game Fire Knight. But she could be great for progression through it. I could see that. We got 2-hitter, 3-hitter, decreased turn meter, heal reduction. That'll really help earlier accounts at the very least. Alright, Blood Mask. Attacks one enemy has a 35% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 10%. Attacks one enemy has a 50% chance of placing a 15% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns. Attacks one enemy has 75% chance of placing stun. Okay, super simple. All single target control. Conscript, uncommon. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Attacks one enemy a 50% chance of placing weaken. So baby weaken. Infiltrator. Attacks one enemy. And then when attacks one enemy 2 times, each hit has a 50% chance of placing baby poison. Alright. So I think I'm trying to I mean, this girl is super cool. As someone who has Duchess, I think she'll pair really well. Seems really fun. Plus she just looked the coolest, didn't she? Really like her. And I'm very curious about how people will play with this guy. I want to see some people play around with him. He sounds really interesting to me personally. Let's see what we got here. Champion tags. A small addition to the game. Champion tags feature, as the name suggests, it will allow you to tag various champions in your collection. These tags will be visible on the champion selection screen before battles. It should make life a lot easier for those who have duplicate champions with different builds. Even those who don't use duplicates might find it more convenient to tag their teams once they have a few champions marked for specific roles. We knew this one was coming as well. And miscellaneous, completing the Doom Tower on either difficulty for the first time will award special avatars. Additionally, players won't receive Doom Tower related advanced quests before Doom Tower is available to them. Doom Tower advanced quests? What Doom Tower advanced quests? We don't have Doom Tower advanced quests. Now we do, apparently? Okay. Clan Boss reward chest will show all possible rewards on tap. Thank you! I've always been wondering this. I've been wondering where, exactly where do shards start popping up? Where do epic books start popping up? Things like that I know some people just know because we figured it out, or maybe data mined, but it'd be nice if it was just out there for easy access. And moderators appear in the game chat rooms. Okay. Okay guys, so just a quick note here. I know a lot of people in my chat on Twitch yesterday were saying, oh, champion chases tomorrow, I'll be pulling my Lydia, or I'll be pulling my helmet, Archmage helmet. But it's not the fusion yet, guys. It's still not the fusion, or fragment event, I should say. So I wouldn't be blowing all your saved resources until it's actually for the fragment event if you're going to do it. I mean, I would love to get me some more Lego books, but am I going to pull enough shards to actually get there? No. So I don't really see myself pulling my champions unless for some crazy reason I had enough to get her, which I do not. Look, they even have a little counter. They even have a little counter. Okay. There's the information right there in the game. Good, good, good. Okay. Yeah, I don't worry about pulling your helmet archmages that are sitting there. I've been waiting. I know some people like me and they do the fusions for I have the broad mod champs ready to fuse one of him just to count for some more points if I need it. We'll see. But I haven't done that yet. Because I'm waiting until I actually need it when it's a fragment or fusion event, so. Okay guys, so thanks for watching. If you're going to go for Countess Licks, go for it if you can. Why not? But don't go crazy. Unless you really, really want her and you can really, really afford it. Or if you've been hoarding shards. Technically, seems a lot better than the Fragment Fusion event to come, so I guess you could say if you're going to do one or the other, you could choose Countess Lix, but alrighty. We'll see. I mean, it's a fun update. It's something different that they haven't done before, but I don't really know how to feel about it yet. I've got to think about it more. I think it's fun if people are hoarding, but I think it's just another pay-to-win thing, which, of course, they like to specialize in these days, don't they? Alright, thank you guys for watching, though. Let me know in the comments below, are you guys going for Countess Lix? And if you did go for her, did you get her before you hit 150 shards? I'd love to know if people are actually getting her before 150 shards. If anyone wants me to pull their shards live on Twitch, well, actually, you know what? This video probably will be out after that. Maybe. We'll see. Anyway, I will pull shards this weekend on Twitch, possibly if I am able to get on, so just holler at me if you want me to pull shards live on stream for you trying to get your Countess Lix or the other champions for the 10-time event. I'm always available to pull shards during the weekend events. It's super fun. Thanks for watching!